Hand Drawn Lips is recorded and produced on Kulin Nation lands.
We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging.
Sovereignty was never ceded, always was, always will be.
Hand Drawn Lips.
Yeah, and I went to a friend's graduation, and it was literally like, give us your ticket. Would you want 2 samosas or 2 spring rolls or a samosa and a spring roll? And then she gets a cardboard container with a samosa and a spring roll, and then she gets to sit in a chair for 4 hours while people call out names.
That's awesome.
And it's also like, maybe it would be different if I was the first person in my family to graduate uni, but if it kind of tertiary education is now lacking a lot of significance, I feel like, for people.
That is the thing. Well, trust I'll be so loud about my graduation.
Oh, hello.
That's only because of my personal journey.
You'll be getting me to take photos. Grad photos.
I won't, because I'll be getting someone who's good at
gown
taking
and the
photos.
hat.
And the gown and the hat.
The gown and the hat and the tea and the... This is Hand Drawn Lips. The ASMR. I'm taking a sip of water.
It's amazing what you can do with a microphone in the course of an episode.
Exactly. My name's Declan, and this is...
I'm Stas.
Yeah, this is my friend and...
I'm Declan's co-host, colleague first and foremost.
And we have a podcast, it's called Hand Drawn Lips.
And this podcast is mainly about sort of like reconnecting with a sense of collegiality between the two of us.
Yes, it is.
That's it.
It's for you, the audience, but in many ways it's for us.
That's just real. That's just true and real.
There's a I hope you guys can feel it's like reparative. It's healing. It's restorative.
We were really on the rocks for a moment there before this. Like we were going to get divorced, but then...
Yeah. I don't fear divorce. I don't fear divorce as a child of divorce. I think, everything... Divorce comes for us all, really. Like, there's
increasingly this is true.
In death, you divorce from life.
Absolutely. Yeah. So divorce is sort of true in many things. I feel divorced from reality sometimes. When I'm in altered states of consciousness. For example, dreaming. For example, when I'm engaged in dreaming.
Yes. Did you have a dream last night that you'd like to share?
Oh.
Nah.
Probably.
That's the thing about a dream.
Well, here's the thing. This kind of like jumps us into Stas's dating dispatch, is that I was stood up for a third time. Why did I subject myself to that? Well, it actually was incredibly alluring and engaging. But what's important to disclose here is that, like, I did have options. I actually did have reliable options that wouldn't have stood me up, but I kept that night clear for someone who I... pretty much was certain wouldn't follow through. I matched with this French guy on Tinder. He can't speak a word of English, where like he's like translating to English like every message. And then we switched to Instagram DMs.
Yeah.
And then we're organizing like a time to hang out. And then at some point I'm like, okay, I feel like there's some miscommunications happening. I'm very good at a ChatGPT prompt engineering thing, especially when it comes to language translation, because of my proficiency in other languages. Brag.
Hello.
So it's like, like that it's unlikely that your tone is going to be conveyed properly when you're relying on a lot of English or like particularly Australian colloquial phrases and that kind of thing. It doesn't always translate well. So I was trying to like engineer it in a way that would find alternatives and still maintain like a tone that's like XYZ.
Can you remember how to say go fuck yourself in
So French? What I learned in this is that to tell someone to go fuck themselves, you tell them, this is the English translation, go cook yourself an egg. Anyway, so this dude stood me up the first time, and then I was like, oh my God, so pathetic. And he was like, I don't know, some bullshit. And then I was like, honestly, go cook yourself an egg if you even have the capacity to do that. This is all in French, so you can understand that it's incredibly like what the fuck? Like, I am fighting with a man in French. Hello. Like, this is fun. So I'm like, go cook yourself an egg if you even have the capacity to do that. And then he's like, I'm a really good cook. hello. And then I'm like, okay, fantastic. Go cook yourself 1,000 eggs. And he was like, that's really mean. And I was like, okay. Like, I'm like, is it? Sure.
That's funny that you were reading in like you tried to translate. Okay, how can I make this insult worse?
Well,
Go
that's
cook
the thing.
yourself 1,000 eggs is not necessarily. It does.
Well, no. Here's the thing. In ChatGPT, I was like, if I were to reply to his message saying I'm a really good cook by saying, go cook yourself 1,000 eggs, would it still stand as an insult? And then it was like, yes, it would for these reasons. Here's another thing you could say, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I'm doing my due diligence, making sure that's coming across. It was really fun. And so, yeah, we're like fighting. And then he was like, let's hang out again. Like, please give me another chance. And I was like, you know what? I know it probably seems naive of me to be like, I'll see you again. But like, do not mistake my goodwill for naivety, that kind of thing. It's just like so fun.
Whoa.
Anyway, and like also just like a good like self-assertion exercise. Anyway, so he stood me up again, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not really like. It got to a point where I was like, I'm gonna start eating ice cream and go to bed, which like was what I actually wanted to do. So a huge win
all along. Can you explain as well? Because I think you were kind of identifying, you know, in your experience, there's kind of like a joy in like having like a mean-spirited back and forth with a man that also has like almost sexual undertones.
It was incredibly like we'd be fighting. I'd be like for example, after like the go cook yourself 1,000 eggs. Like honestly, like so humiliating. Like you don't respect my time, and then he'd be like, but like, can't you see? We obviously like each other so much. It's honestly making me blush. And I'm like, you really think so? Oh, bitch. Like, I could never be in an actual relationship like that. Like, seriously. But it was really fun to just kind of cosplay it for a second.
Yeah. I find when I'm mean to people I'm into, it always comes across as like, it doesn't necessarily have that flirty aspect. It's like like falling at the first hurdle a little bit.
Yes. Well, I was
like
seeing,
sometimes mean is just mean.
I was dating someone a couple of years ago that was like just kind of mean. Like it was just like, you know, poking fun at me.
Right.
And I was like eating that shit up, but it was like not in a healthy way at all. And that didn't really go anywhere, thank God, because I don't think I had necessarily the facilities to be like, this is bad. I think it just really would have been bad if it did happen, or like turned into something more serious. But in this case, it was like, you're basically not real. We're not ever going to meet. You're about to move to Sydney on a whim. This is nothing. And so it was sort of like the stakes were removed ultimately. And it's like,
there's a fantasy aspect.
Legit. And it's like also like, I think you're just enjoying like the hypothetical nature of like this connection anyway, so whatever. Anyway, so after the final thing, I was like, okay, I'm bored of the game now. So I blocked him. And then he messaged me on Tinder, and then he was like, I can't believe you unfollowed me. And I was like, I'm bored of the game. And then I unmatched with him, and I'm like, all right, no more access.
Genius.
Yeah.
Ending.
Honestly,
Genius ending to that.
it was just like, it was just so much fun. Anyway, the issue that I kept like running into was like, I would tell the story about like, it's so fun. Like I told him to go cook himself an egg like, to like friends or whatever as it's happening. And they're all like, oh babe, like you should not be still like talking to him. Like he clearly doesn't respect you. I'm like, no.
You don't
not
get it.
so much about that.
Don't
like,
get it.
Like I know. And I wouldn't do this with like someone where, you know, there was potential for something actually to happen.
Right.
But
if
it's
I
like,
wasn't having fun, I wouldn't be doing this.
Precisely.
So maybe that's what's lost in the communication, that you're having fun.
I think so. And you know what? It wasn't until I chatted with my sister, Olivia, shout out, where I was telling her about it. And she was like, oh, yeah, are you having so much fun? And I'm like, yes, you get it. Like, seriously. Anyway, so now that taught me how to characterize the story.
Yeah.
But that's my dating dispatch.
It's the game, that book. Do you remember that book?
No.
It's a book about pickup artists.
Cool.
It introduced the concept of negging.
Into the culture.
Yes, into the culture.
I love it. Wait, let me close the window.
There's a section of that book, if I can just vamp about it, because I did find a copy of it somewhere. I can't remember. It's actually quite damning that I even touched or opened that book, but The culture was not then what it is now, but there's this section in that book which is basically just 2 pages of him and it's like, this was edited for clarity. It's him being like, I'm on a typewriter, like I'm having sex with a girl right now. God, it's so hot. Like, I can't even believe I'm writing this like while having sex. Like the craziest, cringiest
That is hectic.
male chauvinism.
Yeah. A book written by men for men.
We should do maybe we should do the game recap. We both read the game. And we can do that. We go through the best parts of the book.
It requires me to read. I don't know how to do that. I can't read. It's like, I think I've already talked about this, but like saying that as a joke, like starting uni and being like, oh no, we have to read in this exercise. I don't know how to do that. And people being like, oh, you don't, and it's like, oh, you don't know how to read.
Well,
I'm like,
once again, it's like the fact that you're having fun is lost.
Like, seriously. I'm like, I have a sense of play. I'm like,
I have a joie de vivre.
So I can actually read and write in multiple languages. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You never shut up about it.
I know, seriously, it's important to me that everyone knows about it. Seriously.
I don't know if I have much to add on this, but I do want to share that I took my mum to see a play this week, The Removalists, at Melbourne Theatre Company. And sorry, I was opening and closing a drawer.
Yeah, not my vape drawer.
A crazy stim. And it was staged 50 years ago in Carlton on your street. Does that make sense?
Street?
Yeah.
Faraday Street. My old street.
On Faraday Street, there's a theatre next to the Grilled called La Mama Theatre.
Oh, yeah.
And you would have no idea that theatre has been there for at least 50 years.
Well, no, I wouldn't.
Yeah. Crazy.
I'm not so much taking in my surroundings, which, like, I'll be thinking about that. I will be thinking about that.
There's amazing, rich history all around. I mean, if I look out your window now, very little of that rich history has been preserved. Kind of wherever there's a fuel station, it's like, it's hard to believe this land has been used for anything other than this.
That is the thing. It's like, what happened to the deep history? What I will say though is I live sort of on top of a considerably sized intersection with a lot of traffic.
Yeah. Trams and traffic and...
What that means, though, is it makes for wonderful people watching. And I had an experience on Wednesday of this week. I don't think I've told you about this.
Okay.
I was looking out the window, just sort of like chilling. There's this guy crossing the road. He's there by himself. And he's like...
He's got a deep sadness.
No, he was pretty hot. He was like, a really handsome dude.
A deep hotness.
That's it. I'm standing at the window smoking a cigarette. Sorry. And then not many people look up. They're usually looking at their damn phones or the traffic, ultimately. But this guy, he looks up and he sees me and I'm standing there with my cigarette. And then he's just like staring at me. And I'm like staring at him and I'm like smiling. And then he's walking across the road and then he's like still looking up at me and he's got like this big grin on his face, like this smiling, like sort of friendly thing. And so I go like, hi. I like wave to him and he goes like, hey. And then...
That's your boyfriend.
Seriously, it's my boyfriend. And then I'm like...
You should do a misconnections ad.
I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to begin. But like, I was already going to like go across the road to get something from... the Coles Express. But I was like, I don't really want to interact with him because like danger vibes. Right. And it was like late. So I had my hood up, but I did witness him get on the tram. And like, as he was getting on the tram, he was like looking up to see if he could like see into my window and say goodbye. And then I just like watched him go.
Girl, whoa.
Legit, it was crazy. It was
whoa.
crazy. And I was like, oh my God, that's interesting. Anyway, so...
Not the femme fatale of it all. Like...
This has been really fun. It's just being like, oh, I'm being seen. Like, the other day, I was waiting for the tram after university. Yeah. And this guy rode by on his bike. And I looked incredible. He was riding by and he was just staring at me for like...
Can I guess what's going to happen?
What?
collides with a dump truck.
No,
Killed
it
on
didn't
impact.
collide with a dump truck. But like,
Okay.
I'm meeting his eye contact, and then
Right.
like as he gets close, I'm like, I just like smile. I'm like, haha, roll my eyes, and he's like keeps going, looks back at me, and I'm like, hi. It was so fun. Anyway, so that's been awesome.
So the people of Brunswick East are like, they're not safe.
Well, that happened in the city.
Hello.
So no one's safe anywhere. Wait, why are we saying that? It's not clear to
No
me.
one's safe from being captivated, is what I'm saying.
Yes. Crucial clarification.
Yes.
No one is safe from being captivated. Thank you.
Yes, I can see how that reads, and I'm sorry.
Yes, no, so fine. So that's been really fun.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. I do feel. No, I can't say that.
No,
I can't say that. I just was in Footscray, and there was like the hottest person I've ever seen, like walking down the street, going into the tobacconist, like kind of walking with like swagger, like they're in a movie. And I legit was like, it took my breath away. Took my breath away
It's
a little
just
bit.
like hot people are a gift from God.
Yes, it's true.
By the way, that's us.
It's
That's us.
That's us and the people we're surrounded by.
And everyone listening.
You are the hottest.
You are the
You are the
hottest.
hottest that this world has.
You are the hottest that this world has to offer, and don't for 1 second act in a way that is conducive to any idea other than that.
Co-signed.
Co-signed.
Do you want to do a diva of the week?
Yes.
I've got mine ready.
Hit me.
The thing is, I'm about to say this thing that this diva was really funny, but I can't remember a single joke that they did. So it's kind of like, you'll just have to trust me. But I went to see this thing this week called The Full English, which was 3 drag kings from Edinburgh doing Barry, Brian, and Bean, I think, on
Very
stage.
English.
And the whole bit was like, they're all like chauvinistic, like footy men
Awesome.
whose whole thing is like drinking lots and going to the bar and like hitting on women.
Awesome.
And I got pulled up on stage. They put a bonnet on top of my head.
Really?
They put a bonnet
speaking
up
to
on
the
your
microphone.
head. Oh, right, I see. I thought it was the bonnet. Sorry, I thought
You got
were
pulled up
reacting.
onto stage.
I thought you were reacting to the bonnet.
No.
Yeah, I got pulled up on stage, and was utterly paralyzed while I was up there. I can't remember a single thing that was said. I was just laughing so much from embarrassment as much as the actual comedy. But yeah, it's not anymore, so none of you can see it. But
Unfortunately not.
But it was really, really, really good.
That's awesome. So the diva was...
The diva was Barry, Brian, and Bean.
Awesome.
And the women who play them.
Amazing. 3 divas.
Three divas for this week.
3 divas, 1 podcast.
Brought the fucking house down. It genuinely was like a reminder of the power of comedy.
Ugh. To be reminded of the
And
power of
specifically
comedy.
like improv. Although I guarantee all that shit was pre-written and everything.
Well, it kind of has to be.
It has to be.
To a degree. I have a diva.
Amazing.
My diva is someone I met recently who knows all the words to every Justin Bieber song. So I tested that. I was like, all right, do this one.
Okay. Like a deep cut.
Kind of, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, we got breakfast the morning after, and then we were like sitting in the park, and I was like, okay, do One Less Lonely Girl. And he was like, okay. And then I was like, what's the one? Justin Bieber.
Got to keep an eye out for Selena.
Yeah, I don't know the name of it anymore, but I asked him
Beauty
to
and
do
the Beat.
Beauty and the Beat. Yes,
All
of
I
course.
need is a beauty and a beat. It would make my life complete.
Me, like, actually, like, for real. Anyway, and then he did that one, and then I can't remember what the other ones were. I should have asked him to do Despacito because it's Spanish. But
sorry, cut that.
seriously, no, keep it in. Keep it in. In fact, only post that.
Yeah, that is a genuinely impressive skill. I guess I'm just wondering what was happening to them at that point in their life when Justin Bieber was big, that encourage them to form this like really intense parasocial connection with
well,
Justin Bieber.
So there's actually so much conjecture within what you're saying.
Completely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll own up to that.
Yeah.
I'll own up to it.
I'll be the first to admit that everything I say is rife with
Basically,
conjecture.
legit everything I say, because I mean, we tell ourselves stories in order to live.
We do tell ourselves stories
and
in order
I
to
tell
live.
you stories in order to keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah, we tell stories in order to have a podcast. So there's that. No, what I will say is like what I found incredibly endearing about it was like, this is a guy who's like super like guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he just loves Justin Bieber. Like he loved Justin Bieber. And I was like, that's kind of awesome. Like he just loved it. Whereas like, I don't know. I remember when
some people love much more toxic things than Justin Bieber.
Yeah, would you prefer he loved heroin? Seriously,
No.
Declan, what are you saying? No,
Certainly
no, I
not.
wouldn't. So don't put words in my mouth.
We all have our vices, and Justin Bieber is one of the healthier vices.
I'll take that any day of the week. Seriously. And I'll take that any day of the week.
If you could
you're
trade
listening.
smoking for Justin Bieber.
I would trade smoking for Justin Bieber. And,
can you bring over an iPod with Justin Bieber on it?
In a heartbeat, I would do that. Seriously, it rocks. It rocks. It rocks to be me. So that's my diva shout out.
Okay, I have can I explain the segment? Is this anything? Because I've got a few.
Okay.
I have an Is This Anything? Is This Anything is our podcast segment where we explore an idea that could either be everything or nothing. And we make a clear binary delineation between those two things.
Mm-hmm.
It might be presented as a question seeking an answer. Is this anything or is this nothing? Potentially, it is expressing a contradiction. I thought this is everything, though it might also be nothing at the same time, which is impossible because a thing can only be one thing of the two options. It might also be a mystery. We don't know.
It can sometimes be incredibly impossible to know. And what the segment can also end up being is just a conversation we forget that we're doing. Is this thing. It's important to note, and also it happens quite often.
So this one is a question.
Yes.
Is this anything? Last night I went to a house party. I walked into a bungalow of people all sitting around. No one knew who I was. No one even knew my name. They went, if you want to come inside, you have to tell us a secret. I go, I have a nipple on my foot. They go, what? Can we see? I take off the wrong shoe. I show them my foot. I go, shit. I take off the right shoe. I show everyone. They go, oh. And then they ask me questions about it. And I answered them. They were like, has it ever produced milk? The answer is no.
No mammary glands.
No mammary glands. Have you had it your whole life? The answer is yes. And is it sensitive like a nipple? And the answer is also yes. Someone asked me if I've ever used it for sex. The answer is no.
Okay. The answer is also yes.
There's just no. Don't spread rumors.
No.
I can't be seen to be a
pervert.
A pervert.
Yeah.
But yes, that was what was done, and some people even touched it. I guess my question is like, do we think having a nipple on your foot is like a banal enough like secret there that I can reveal it as like a little bit of a party trick, or do you think it's actually like maybe something I should keep closer to my chest?
I feel the call to sort of unpack shame.
Yes,
but I will resist the call. I'm declining the call.
We don't unpack shame on this podcast.
We've just done it. If you want to hear us unpack shame, listen to like our first 19,000 episodes. I think that
Do you think it's everything?
I think it is everything in the sense that it's like, you know what? Share it. It's something that makes you unique. If you feel fine with people asking to touch it, unique, that's what you are. Sorry, I had to call back.
You are the visual baby. It's like a big video of my foot nipple.
Yes. Like seriously, you are the visual baby.
You are the visual baby.
But when at any given point before you're about to disclose the information, ask yourself like, there's a high chance that people are going to ask to touch this. Am I ready for that in this moment?
The answer is always yes, because it's not. There's nothing strange about it.
Can I touch it after? No. So this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing was like I was offering, but if someone came up to me and said, "I heard you have a fit nipple, can I touch it?" It's sort of like the touching is like circumstantial because I'm already showing it and I'm already close to it. If my shoes were on and someone was like, "Can I touch it?" I'd be like, "Oh, so you really want to touch it? Freak."
Interesting. I would also just like to take this opportunity to say that it was one of the first things about yourself that you shared with me.
Yes.
Like,
So
wait
it's
till you hear
important.
this.
I mean, it's fundamental. Do you think if you were finding out about it now that you would feel the same way? Share it.
I just like every day when I find out something new about you, it is nothing but a gift
From God.
Seriously,
A gift from God.
I feel an excitement about learning new things about my friends. And so if you revealed to me right now, I'd die. I'd fucking die.
You would die.
They'd have me killed. Who's they? Anyway,
Who's
I think it's
they?
everything.
The people that decide where the nipples go.
Yeah, Bigfoot nipple.
Now
Now come on.
I think it's everything as well.
That's really good.
I have no shame about it.
I have an is this everything or nothing?
Mhm.
No, I've already talked about this, I think.
Just tell me and I'll say whether you have or not.
There was a woman that that is in the same course as me at university, and I asked her if she was a recent high school graduate.
Oh, yes.
And she said, "No, I'm 46." No, okay, never mind. I really thought I forgot to bring
I
that
actually
up.
can't really remember if we've talked about that, but if I had to rehash it, that would be nothing. That would be
That's it.
nothing.
Well, Droovy, my diva of the week from last week, sort of was there listening to me dig myself into a hole, and sort of gave me this look after I was like reacting to "No, I'm 46." I was like, "Oh my God," I had no idea. I was looking at me like, "What?"
Yeah, I don't know if there's a way. I could never speculate as to someone's age without it having this like very sad bent, because I am always I find myself wishing I was younger, I say, as a 24-year-old, and I guarantee that feeling just like increases exponentially the older that you get.
I hope.
But you just have to not let it control you.
I hope it put a step in
behavior.
her step, being asked if she was 20 years younger than she is.
I hope so too. But even the fact that she kind of wants to be told that she looks 20 years younger than she is kind of fucked up.
We don't know that she wants it.
I think society makes us all want it.
Yeah, well, you just said at the age of 24, one of the youngest ages, 7 in the theory of being a baby and your age resetting at 18. That's your theory. You're 7. Is that what 7 is?
It's not my theory. Yeah, I'm 7. I'm a 7-year-old adult, because when you're 18, you're a 0-year-old adult.
Yeah, so you're a 7-year-old adult being like, I wish I was younger. so like, that's crazy.
True. It is crazy. But Alex Consani is 21.
Don't tell me that. Straight up, like, I don't need to know. We think. Unfortunately, there's no way to find out.
Wouldn't be the first time a model has lied about their age, honestly.
When Billie Eilish was coming onto the scene, she was like a year younger than me. I remember being like, I was 20. I was like, it's fucking over for me.
I haven't. Is this anything?
Yes.
About the Libertarian, because there's an election coming up, so I'm just reading about this. Reading about the Libertarian Party. All their positions are like no more license fees, no like reduced taxes, like no more like get rid of all these rules.
Don't want any money.
Get rid of all these rules, and then it's like no gender affirming care for children.
Okay.
Like why is that the thing that you're deciding to not be liberal about?
Fascinating. Wait, which party was this?
The Libertarian Party. They don't have any seats or anything.
Yeah, they're just sort of there.
But it's so like inconsistent and confusing that every single thing is like, we need to let people live their lives, allow them to be free, allow them to self-determine, but not
except for
this,
that.
except for that.
No, that's too far.
It's so
like, interesting.
It's like, why is that inconsistency allowed to exist?
Well,
like,
that's the thing.
Do people not realize how absurd that is?
Your values are not permeating. Me, when the values aren't permeating. Seriously, boring.
Anyway, Bob Catter, I looked at an article, and behind him, there's someone holding up a placard that says, "People in jeans built this country. people in suits are destroying it. Is that everything or nothing?
That's everything.
Because it's true or because it's effective?
Good question. Oh, this
It
is
is.
fun. Okay, so I think it is. I don't know how true it is to say that it was one or over the other, because I think that like
People in jeans and people in suits probably built this country.
I think that is the thing.
Yeah.
I think that is unfortunately the thing.
Yes.
But it's like actually the majority of the hard work is done by the people in jeans. And I think that that isn't recognized enough. But I think that part of the populist rise in America was as a result of like capitalizing on that sentiment. The people in jeans being like responsible for doing the hard work in, you know, sort of building a country or whatever, or just like in contributing to the economy, whatever, was not being adequately recognized. And so they kind of capitalized on that, and that's how they won like the white working or like blue collar vote or whatever it was.
Yeah. There's another inconsistency here, which is like if you look at labor market statistics, there's a measure of value created per person per industry. Yes, like working class jobs or industries have like a very small proportion of like value created per hour per person, if that makes sense. And then by far the largest sector or contributor to this is finance, which is obviously skewed
In terms of value created. per
yes,
person.
exactly.
Right, I see it. And it's
Because you're
okay.
measuring it in like in dollars. Of
Yeah.
course, finance is going to come up as the one that's most value created. But I think most people, the average person, would agree that like like an hour worked by a finance person makes zero difference to our lives, but an hour worked by like a farmer really does make a meaningful difference to our lives.
Because what are finance bros doing all day? They're in my DMs.
Yes.
No agricultural workers are in my DMs as far as I'm
Yeah,
aware.
well, when I was talking before about value created per hour, that's like value created.
Okay. Well, now I understand the measure, how they're measuring
DM
value.
sent.
No, seriously, but it's like stop sending DMs and get back to work.
Your
Won't
network
you?
is your net worth.
Seriously, I should engage then.
If I could turn DMs into dollars, I'd be rich.
That's the damn thing. Well, quite frankly, none of it's working.
What do you mean none of it's working?
The way that we're looking at value is not actually conducive to value.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
Because dollars are not the only metric of value, frankly.
by far, maybe the least indicative.
Yeah.
At
As
this current
explained.
point. That's the thing. In any case,
I'm wearing jeans right now. We're both wearing jeans. People in jeans built this country.
they have done the majority of like the hard work.
Yeah, exactly.
Take a moment and ask yourself, am I wearing jeans right now? No, I think the message there is kind of everything. It speaks to a very poignant sentiment in the culture. I did not know that Bob Catter was an agrarian socialist, but I think that's kind of everything in the sense that I'm interested in learning more about it.
Yeah. Let 1,000 blossoms bloom as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'm just not spending any more time on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite frankly, every 3 months.
I mean, it speaks to, again, I'm not pro Bob Catter, but I do think it speaks to, you know, he's got his head screwed on straight when it comes to certain socially, well, no, he doesn't.
That's the, well,
No, he
that's
doesn't.
the thing. It's just like, I think that...
I'm not defending Bob Catter.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just interesting to recognize, I guess. Recognizing nuance in policy positions, I guess, is kind of everything insofar as like exploring nuance is always important. But like at the end of the day, it's like blah, 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 the most like unoriginal statement ever. But it's like people's identity or like their relationship statuses or who it is that they are interested in or not interested in, blah, 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 is like, quite frankly, not something that should ever be up for debate on a policy level.
Yeah.
Because it's like, It's like not something that is changeable. So you look at like economics, it's like, sure, you can change your approach to like how to deal with something. You can make things like more agrarian socialist, for example, because that is like the current thing isn't working, so you have to change it in order to reach a better outcome. But it's like in things that relate to people's identity, it's like there is no point in like creating policy that limits people's like options here, because like it will always be there. It like, and I know I'm saying nothing right now. Like it's nothing that we don't know already. It's like literally it's already on a shirt somewhere, but I'm like, hello. Oh my God, drives me crazy.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what he's talking about. I won't spend any more time on it. Let 1,000 blossom bloom, as far as I'm concerned.
Fix the crocodile thing where people are dying is what he's saying.
The final word on that, agrarian socialism is interesting because what I think most people's understanding of how Australian politics works wouldn't include the fact that there's an elected member who would call themselves. Yeah, it's just like interesting. It's like an outlier.
Yeah, it's like wouldn't have expected that, but it was always there right in front of my eyes.
Exactly. Do you have an Is This Anything?
I really don't.
Okay, shall I just keep going?
Yeah.
So the other day I saw a bee on a stainless steel doorknob.
How was that? It's like there's nothing for you here.
Yeah, well, it was kind of like, I guess my question at the time was, what sort of value in a stainless steel doorknob could a bee find, you know? Like, what was it about the doorknob that attracted the bee? And if a bee can be attracted to a doorknob, does that mean I too am worthy of love?
This is like making me think of a video that I saw recently that was like this girl like making an incredibly compelling argument about how like men who are super into brutalist architecture have no inner world. And they would never received love from their mothers. I'll see if I can find it. It's gonna be so hard. But
so do you think the bee is like has no inner world?
It's like the bees like trying to be like, I'm gonna do something different, but it's like there's no pollen there.
No, I'm not like the other bees.
Which like I don't know, that's rife with like metaphorical meaning.
Alternative bee. You know, I don't really think I want to look at pollen today. I'm more interested in brutalist architecture.
It's not about pollen for me personally.
Yeah, for me it's about the textures, the light, the reflections. I've only got because bees live for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I've only got 2 weeks left, so while I'm here, I want to appreciate the finer things.
That was amazing.
You're welcome.
I loved it every
second.
second.
That was an alternative bee. But then if you zoom out, the bee, it sounds like...
Yeah. That's it. You like can't hear it. You swat it away.
Yeah.
Immediately. It's like you thought you had 2 weeks. Yeah, you had about 2 seconds, bitch. Seriously?
Or maybe it was a trap. Like on a doorknob. Like that's where I put my hand, on the doorknob.
He's like, I'm going to kill myself and hurt someone.
Well, do you think that's everything or nothing? The doorknob bee?
That's everything, just because it's such a beautiful metaphor.
Yeah, it is. It's sort of, well, it's like an unlikely animal friendship, which there's always something that we like about that.
The monkey helps the bird.
The monkey helps the
helps
pigeon.
the monkey.
Next thing you know, the monkey and the pigeon divorced.
No, seriously, because it comes for everyone.
It comes for everyone.
By the
Even
way.
the monkey and even an unlikely animal friendship could be subject to divorce.
Not many things are everlasting. Hello.
Listen.
Seriously.
So that's my tea about the doorknob bee.
I just think that like that's gonna so be something for me now. Be like, am I being doorknob bee right now? Insofar as like,
am I chasing after things that aren't good for me?
Yeah, that aren't contributing to my life force.
You're a doorknob bee.
That's it. I could be collecting pollen for my
you're being
hive.
a doorknob bee right now.
Yeah, doorknobby.
Dobby.
So what's that? Yeah.
Mister. So there's Dobby's famous quote, Mister.
Mister.
He goes, Master. That's what it is.
Oh, I see. I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter for obvious reasons, and now like still don't watch it for other obvious reasons.
Misgendering Dobby. Dobby.
Sorry, you gagged me with that a little bit. I knew this.
Dobby, if his like evil trait was that he kept misgendering people on purpose.
That's like in whatever the new thing that just came out with Harry Potter.
Yeah, the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It's like Dobby's like, there are only 2 tenants.
I hate this transphobic elf.
But he came with the house.
I tried to get into Harry Potter, but I
Fuck.
couldn't really get past the transphobic elf, and also Dobby's an egg.
Dobby's an egg.
Dobby is a good egg.
It's such a shame we can't include that.
Of course we can.
No, I don't want to talk about the transphobic elf. Like, I don't want to.
I'm here. I co-sign it.
The joke is that it's Dobby, the transphobic elf, actually secretly an egg. So
Yeah.
funny.
I think we'll keep it in
That's
because it's
good.
my joke.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yay.
we all need a win.
We all need it. God, in this episode, I need a fucking
From
win, bitch.
time to time. My last one is I went to something, I guess, what I describe as a gay guy party in a warehouse in Brunswick. And when I told you about this before, you were like, oh, that's like, it's going to be like a gay guy party. Like, it's just going to be like gay guys there. And we went, and you were exactly right.
Yeah. I've been in this game for years.
And then after that, we left, and we were like, God, why was that not so fun? Because the music was good, the vibe was there, the venue was a bit small, but whatever. But we just couldn't get into it. It just felt like not a good way to spend time. And then one of the ways we were rationalizing it was like, oh, it kind of felt like, all these people from South Yarra, shout out our previous podcast.
Yeah, which, by the way, Brady's different. Brady shouldn't be there, but he is.
All these people from South Yarra like came to Brunswick for like a crazy night out. We were just finding all these ways to rationalize why vibe was not vibe. Is that everything or nothing?
Well, I think
if you're not enjoying something, should you rationalize it, or should you just be like, I wasn't fucking with it?
I think that it's always good to just try and be like, what was it that I didn't like there? Because it just like means you're more aware going forward.
And you can take it into the future.
That's the thing. It's like, I don't like that there were a bunch of South Yarra people. That's
Yes.
probably not good.
Yeah.
Or it could be like, the thing is, sometimes it is just as simple as like, I wasn't primed and ready to be enjoying this. Or it can be like, the party wasn't fun. It's that simple sometimes.
Yeah, or I was tired.
But it is always fun to theorize.
Yeah.
Yeah. Run the numbers. According to my calculations, the party wasn't fun due to like, it was just gay guys.
I should have been doing data collection. Where are you from?
Seriously.
How did you get here?
Hey, do you have a moment for a quick survey? Shouldn't take more than 50 minutes. It's so nice getting to know you. So, what was your postcode?
No postcode envy.
Seriously.
It was like walking distance from here as well. Crazy.
That venue doesn't spark joy for me personally.
Yeah. Can I say it? Rubik's?
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, you
But,
haven't
like,
been?
No, yeah, I have been. It doesn't spark joy from when I've been. I'm like, I guess so to a week and say it. Sorry.
The smoker prison was subject to budget cuts because they were packing people in like sardines.
Oh,
Yeah.
they need to expand.
They need to expand the smoker prison.
The smoker section.
They
Bring
need
back
to
smoking
turn the
inside.
whole venue into a smoker prison.
Literally. Then I'd at least have some fun. Seriously. My nicotine addiction is mine, and I have my own beautiful relationship with the substance.
Mine and mine alone.
Seriously.
Is it time?
I think it's time.
All right.
It's
Hey.
over. Hey,
You
this
stuck
has
with
been
us
fun.
through thick and thin,
We're both a bit tired.
and I'm hungover.
Yeah.
But this is how I do my best work. And if you disagree, leave us a review telling us that.
Leave us a 5-star review if you disagree. That would be much appreciated.
Right.
Love you.
Bye, gorgeous.
I'm wishing you all a very hand-drawn lips.
Oh, wait.